y'all? We got the one and only Butter Boy.
What up?
All right.
So this is, everyone knows I only play green. That's all I play. This is by far probably one of the best green decks I've ever played. The insane draw power this deck has in free play is pretty wild. So King Cold, out of the new set, Supreme Rivalry, he has a permanent on the ability card. All your 2-drop fields, so fields with 2 costs that are mono green, are reduced by 1, so they're all 1 mana. When you activate a field, you take a life and draw a card, and then your Awaken is untapped 2. You also basically come into play as soon as you set the down, you play this big field card. He has Barrier, which is weird for a field card, so only 1 card in the game can take this guy out. That is Zeno Cosmic Unison. So you don't get outed by like Tack Victory Vegeta and like OG Broly Leader, but basically this is a giant wall of text. All this thing says is, I have multiple field cards as long as the fields I'm casting are 2-drops. And then I can't recast field cards if they're already in play. Kind of like how Mecha does Planet Vegeta and then has Planet Vegeta already. You can't do that. You have to get rid of them before casting a new one. Awaken on tap 2. On the backside, you can no longer take a life when you cast field cards, but you still draw. Because he doesn't draw an attack. And then activate battle. Doesn't have to be with him in combat. You destroy one of your field cards and gain 10,000 power. So he's able to free combo every turn. And you can really just go infinite and never have to use your hand and just keep drawing cards. So we're going to go ahead into the deck profile.
And if y'all want to just get the whole overlay of the deck, we're going to have it at the end of the video.
Yeah, right at the end. I'm just going to set it all nice and pretty for you guys. You guys can skip to the end and just check it out because I know some people don't like explanations. So units we run is, of course, the King Vegeta. Umbral Invader. He is a +1 ability. Play a field card from your hand. That's 2 mana. -1, which is very rare, but technically if you're in a bad spot, you can do it, which is your opponent choose one of their cards that are 5 or lower and KO it. And then it's -3, which is activate battle, which is amazing. This card gains triple strike and 5k for every field. And you already start with 1, so he'll be minimum of 20k. And when you run unisons, you run counterplays for Frieza. If you know what this card does, counterplay for free. If you have a unison with 2 markers, it kills a 7 or less. And then we're going to go ahead and jump right into the field cards. We're going to go ahead and go with
the whole smorgasbord.
3, Unstoppable Invasion. When you play this, you can take a life, and then it also gives your leader 10,000 in power and double strike for the turn. And then when it's removed, like say off your field effect, it removes a marker from a unison. For those that don't know, when markers come off unisons, they lose all gained abilities. So they lose any power they've gained and also double strikes, triple strikes, all that stuff. So no one can ever win on you with a double strike unison like Vegex, Go Hanks, the mirror match, all that stuff. We play 1 Terrified Realization. This one draws a card and takes a life, but has a permanent that when you have 4 field cards, which you already start with 1, all your Frieza clans gain 5k power. So this guy becomes a 15k attacker, your dual attack becomes 25k. It provides extra pressure, but he doesn't have a removal effect. And he's mainly in there as the one-off for that permanent, and then also for turns where you get stuck at 6 and you can't quite awaken. If you play the double strike and like new ruler,
I'll be real.
You can play
Giving the 5k to the counterplay is so disrespectful when you punch me for 15.
It really is. I'm like, I just destroyed your turn, and then now I'm just being mean. Then we go 4 new ruler. This is probably honestly my favorite one. His ability, he can take a life as well. He looks at the top 3 for any mono green card. So I was testing Cell Xeno, but we're not running that. You could, but he grabs any mono green card of the deck. So in this deck, it's physically impossible to whiff. I literally run 2 non-green cards in this deck. And also, when it's removed, it draws a card and then discards a card. So your leader effect, you have like a weird pseudo-super that can filter your hand. And then the last 2-drop field, we have Anticipated Onslaught. This field effect, when you activate it, you draw a card and then summon. This one does not take a life, but you can take one off leader. So you can summon a 2 or less from your hand. And then when a different field card is removed, other than itself, so you kill new ruler, draw a card, discard a card, kill this guy, do nothing, kill this guy, remove marker. It kills a 2 or less on your opponent's side. So comboing out of an attack, you can kill an opponent battle card, draw a card, remove a marker, all this crazy stuff. So you have so much synergy and interaction during your opponent's turn. Cards to play off this card is technically also your Paragus super combo. He is technically a Frieza army. And this summons Frieza army or Frieza clan, sorry. But he's a Frieza army. Draw 2, warp 1. It's just the best green super combo. You don't really need to run the bottom deck ones. And then probably the best card in the deck, to be honest, is Berry Blue. For those that don't know, she's a top 7 searcher for a unison. So she's played for 1 mana or free off the field to top 7 for a unison or any of the field cards that cost 2. But its secondary ability is 1 mana. You activate a field from your drop area. So things like that. Oh, get out of here, bro. My deck's it doesn't stink. Get off here. Flies on my deck. But 1 mana, you play a field from your drop area. So like during your opponent's turn, if you killed New Ruler, draw, discard, you can just go to your turn, tap 1 mana, play New Ruler. It draws you a card off leader effect, and then you can take a life off the New Ruler, and then look at the top 3 for a New Ruler. So you just drew 3 cards, losing nothing. This deck, if you can't resolve this card, if you can't get rid of it as an opponent, you lost. This deck's gonna go infinite and just get like a 15 card hand. Other target to play is Paragus' Sacrifice. So he's a good card. I would never go above 2, but he's there because most of your interactions to kill your field cards are through battle. And obviously in the state of the game, like with Kai, Negate, Dormant, people have ways to interact with your cards during your turn. So he's the one way to like do your whole turn without having to talk to your opponent. You can tap 1 for Berry Blue, revive New Ruler, look at the top 3, Paragus Sacrifice, kill New Ruler, draw 2 cards, 1 for Paragus, 1 for New Ruler, discard 1 card, and then if you have another one at hand, play it off your Unison, look at top 3 again. And then out of the new set, we have this 1-drop Frieza. This guy's bonkers. When you play him, you draw a card. Cool. But he has a secondary ability when you play him. He nukes the entire board, not ignoring barrier, and then he gets 16,000 and double strike until the end of your opponent's next turn. So he's kind of like a Basil for a turn, but he kills the entire board. You can play him for free, so it's a 2-mana board wipe, double striker. And then technically he's also 25 if you have this field and other 4 fields in play. We are currently testing the new Chilled promo, not promo, SR from the set. So this card's a bit weird. It's when you play it, you play 2 Chilled Army tokens, which are 10k power. This card is reduced by 1 if your opponent has 2 energy. So just turn 2, this card goes live. And then he has to activate Battle, which is crit 1 of your life. And then all your tokens get 10,000 power and blocker. So you can play them defensively or just go super aggro. So for 0 mana and the cost of critting 1 of your life, you play this guy for free off this field, swing with it, crit your life, and then now you have a 19k and 2 20k swings. So this thing is just go wide super fast. And then the best card to play off of it is technically this 4-drop Frieza. He's reduced by 1 for every 2 field cards in the grave and field, and you start with 1, so he's automatically almost to a 3-drop. But he's dual attack blocker, and then when he activates blocker, you can kill one of your fields to restand him, and then like trigger your field effects. And then counterplay, we run 2 of the new cooler counterplay.
Plant.
Very good card, yeah, one of the best looking cards this game's seen. But it's counterplay at 4 or less, and then when you play it, your opponent discards a card if they have 8 or more cards in hand. The 4 or less isn't super relevant, but it's also just there, and it's only risk during your turn, your opponent's turn, so you can't really like play offensively to hit like a topo. You can tap 4 for it and do it, but good card. It just provides synergy, and you can even just hit it like if your opponent's hand's like an 8 or 9, and they just play like a 6-drop or whatever, you can just hold it to make him discard a card. And then we run 2 of the King Cold Negate. He's like a weird topo. Counter attack, negate the attack, and he's reduced by 1 for every field card in play. So he's automatically a 2-drop when you start the game, and then he's a 1-drop when you have another one. When this card's played, your opponent can't attack leader cards unless they discard a card. So they can still attack Unisons in battle, but I actually don't run Dormant in this deck. This is like your primary floodgate for turns you just don't want to get attacked by your leader. And like I said, if you counterplay this and like get their hand a little bit lower, if they have like 7 or 6, they just can't commit to attacking you. And then more negates is 3 homicidal clones. Free negate at 5 or left, you can take a life to pay the cost. It negates the attack and plays a blocker. Amazing. And then the best negate in the deck is by far Royal Supremacy.
God, that card is so good.
It's bonkers. This kind of takes up the dormant removal part. It's played for free if you have 3 field cards in play. So you start with 1, so you just need to keep the synergy of having 2. You never really want to go below 2, strictly because of this card, because you want to be able to always have this guy for free. And then we go into the boss monster kind of package. There's 2 of the 5-drop Frieza, Pinnacle of the Clan. He is also just like this 4-drop. He's reduced by 1 for every 2 fields. So as soon as you cast 1 field card, he's a 4-drop, and then he goes down to 3. And it's between drop area and field. So you just negate naturally, and then he becomes a 3-drop. He's double strike, and then activate main. You kill one of your fields, restand him, place one of your cards, your opponent's cards in the drop area from the field, which is super relevant because it's not KO. So like versus Red Gogeta, it's an you get around that, stuff like that. And then KO effects don't trigger if you kill them, like the 3-drop TP Bojack. And then he also sell Kamehameha as a card from hand. So you rip a random card, and that's ignoring barrier, all this stuff. It's just crazy. And then if you have the field card, it's 2 30k double strikes. It gets too crazy. We run a 1 of Kai for double strike. You give your leader double with this, so they save it for the negate for that, and you just dump on another card. 1 dual attack Bardock. because this Bardock is amazing. He just provides extra pressure between all the dual attacks and go wide part. And then the secret rare for the deck is going to be the Majin Buu Secret Counter. This combined with the Unison is the easiest win con of the deck. There's not much Unison interaction besides like the Mirror Match, Absolute Confidence, and very tiny things like the new Clash of the Masks card. But you can just swing leader with your Unison. If they don't negate, or if they do negate, you now can just punch this through, activate battle -3. It's usually going to be a 35, and you just dump hand. This deck can go super killable, like 5, just double strike your leader with the field card, hit him down to 3, dump for game. You can just win the game off those alone. This deck's economy is insane. Berry Blue is the stones. If she survives and you're able to just proficiently remove your fields between your turns on offense and your battles were in defense, it's insane not to keep a giant hand. But really, this is the overall deck. There's things you can change. I don't like Dormant in the main board. I'll run it in the side if maybe.
I heard it here first. No Dormant.
I've never thought I would say, I'm not running Dormant. That card sucks. See, I was a fan of Roshi, not Dormant. This deck is honestly nuts. I think it's the best green deck out there, besides maybe Reboot Gohan, but that deck is also just negate or bust. But if you want to play like a fun, switch the pace deck, you can play super stally because you don't have to attack to gain advantage, or you can just go wide with having double strikes on turn 1 for 20k. The deck goes insane. I love it. There's not too many counters because there's many things like King Piccolo matchup. You want to clear the red Piccolo Unison because this is your stones. You want to keep her alive. But you have great Unison removal. It's just it's a great deck. I definitely advise playing it, and by far one of the cheapest decks to play. The only SRs in this deck are a really cheap Shield promo, this Frieza, and this Cooler. That's it. You can play without this Cooler if you want. Other than that, this whole entire set was common and common rare, besides these just last-minute additions. But this is the deck. I'll be playing this for months to come. I don't see myself coming off this deck. But always, shout out to Gamerz, the G Alliance, Card Guys, G Sports, all of them. Hopefully I can do some good stuff with this at events. And if any updates, I'll let you guys know. That's going to be it.
All right, stay tuned for more deck profiles, guys.